about we were just talking about your husband and his perspective as a dad. You said he's from Australia and now he's moved to Chile, and he had his previous relationship. He had a child and he was also born by cesarean, so he also understands the medicalization of birth and why you would want to aim for a natural birth this time, and why you're choosing a free birth.
Yeah, I mean, he tells me that he's obviously, well, I guess like anything that puts you out of your comfort zone of the things you do day in, day out, it's a bit, it makes him a little bit nervous, but not uneasy. I've also selected the material that he has to study along, or not study, but look through with me later on. Like how to help someone that's in labor, what kinds of things to do, what to look out for, the complications that could arise, and how to address them.
Yeah.
So, because, I mean, he's very good in stressful situations. Whenever something unexpected happens, he's the first one that's cool-headed and very fast to act. And so I know that his instincts will kick in if something really needs to, if I need to be taken to hospital, I know he's not going to hesitate if it comes to that, and he's going to tell me, "I'm sorry, Liz, you're going to hospital." That's it. But also I know he won't let me go, even if I say, "Take me to a hospital," just because I'm tired, or, I'm in transition, which happens a lot apparently. It's like, "No, I hate you. I'm going to die." I know he's going to be like, "No, you're not. You're just in transition." So, but I want him to feel confident and comfortable with the language and what to expect, as well as I want to know what to expect. And this is why I've been reading books and hearing podcasts and everything, because particularly from doulas and midwives' perspectives, because sometimes moms, well, I think you also explained that, is that moms sort of have a distorted version of like what actually happens. They don't know how long it happened for. They have no idea if they were in transition or if they were, being irrational. They are just being moms doing their thing. So while listening to podcasts, hearing stories, personal stories is very empowering. At the same time, I was also actually looking for something not medical, but more practical.
Yeah.
More from that third person perspective that can give you that sort of guide. But because I'm going to be the one doing the labor, my husband also needs to know that third person's perspective. So I'm highlighting, separating, choosing the material. So because, well, he works full-time outside of the house, and I work full-time but in the house. So he's here often and all, but sometimes he's home as well. But I am the one that's dedicating, that chunk load of headspace to do the research and the reading, and then I'll just give him the good bits, the juicy bits for him to go over.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've taken on responsibility for really educating yourself and your husband to have the kind of birth that you want. And I want to distinguish this for people, because I know if people are listening to this and this is the first time they've heard of free birth or unassisted birth, I'm sure they're just like, is that safe? And so because my perspective is always like, safety is always number one. It's not like we're going to sacrifice safety. It's safety is number one. And within the realm of safety, we want to have a great experience and have the best experience for ourselves as mothers and for our babies coming in. So obviously it sounds like you guys have done the research to distinguish what are true emergencies that do need to transfer to the hospital, and it's not like you're being unsafe. I just want to point that out to listeners.
No, and the other thing is to actually know and understand, because sometimes you might be facing a situation where you think it's unsafe, but then you realize through reading and educating and researching, well, it's not that it's not unsafe. It's, it can be easily fixed.
Yeah.
Like if the cord is around the neck of the baby, and if the baby looks a little bit blue, well, what do? There's a few things that you can do to correct the situation.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember and to understand how the organs work. What's the placenta doing? What's the cord doing? And what is it for? How does it work? Like, education really is empowering.
Yeah.
And while I promise I won't jump into an ER and pretend or try to deliver someone else's baby or help someone else deliver their own baby. I wouldn't, I feel I also have this personal connection with my own body.
Exactly. Yeah.
That personal intuition that, if at any point I feel, even during my pregnancy, because I've heard of stories of women that were planning a free birth, and then they felt this nagging need to check for the health of their baby.
Right.
And they eventually did while they were pregnant.
Yeah.
And discovered that the baby. And so while it's very rare, it's important to listen to yourself, because
your own intuition.
if something needs to be looked at, you will know.
Yes, it's true.
Your baby is part of your body while you're pregnant. It's in there, and it has that direct connection through the placenta. So if anything really needs addressing and it's really worrying you, and if it's causing more stress than it's solving, then it's not worth it. But for me, the medical system itself was causing a lot of stress and undue stress. And so I thought, no, I feel much safer now, actually, that I've taken this decision. And, I also know my limitations. And so if anything were to happen, I am quite comfortable with saying, no, let's go to a hospital.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so important. What's your opinions of the prenatal course that you watched that I did?
Oh, I didn't start with like zero knowledge. But if I had started with zero knowledge, I would have felt very confident as well. I'm loving it. I'm loving the material that you have passed along. I particularly enjoy how you explain terminology. You make it friendly for, layman terms, so to speak, but also empowering the way you teach, because then I feel that if I were to be confronted and someone were to ask me, I now understand the terminology and I understand what I'm talking about in their own terms.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to intimidate me by telling me things that, big words or whatever. I'm enjoying a lot, particularly the medical aspect of it, like I mentioned. But also the personal aspect of it too, like getting to know yourself and unlearn misconceptions. Because it's true. I think that most people, they've only witnessed birth from the media perspective. And when you think about it, well, you don't actually believe that the doctors in Grey's Anatomy are not going to assume that the protocols that they follow in these shows are actually accurate. But when it comes to birth, we don't question it. We don't question the accuracy of what's being portrayed, because it's been portrayed over and over and over throughout the years. And I think there needs to be a very realistic approach and like disseminating information of what actually looks like. What does birth actually look like? Is it really awful? Is it really painful? Is it really horrible? I don't think so. I think it can be magical and beautiful and profound and intimate and in a loving scenario. And but I really like how the course takes you from the outer aspects of birth, or the more general aspects of it, to the more intricate medical stuff. I haven't finished looking at it, watching all the videos, but I found it very fascinating and very well done, very well structured, and very much in depth, in like in necessary depth. It's not so in depth that you are completely lost, or offside or off track, but it gives you enough knowledge that it empowers you, and that it also makes you understand what the heck is going on with you, because so many things happen to a pregnant body that it's difficult to keep track of it all, and it's like, oh, I found a new symptom. It's,
Yeah.
and so understanding this the physiological aspect of it, it's very, very empowering.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. That's so great. Thank you for saying that. And what other information would you like to get as a pregnant mom having your second baby? What other information would you like to get from a prenatal course that you think would be important?
Well, I think that one of the things that I haven't looked at is emergencies that could actually be to warrant a transfer to a hospital. But I think you do cover it, but I haven't watched it. But I don't think that there's something. I was invited to watch another course, and but this was but it was very, but because it was very spiritually based,
Mhm.
it was very she spoke a lot about self connection,
Mhm.
and I felt that she left out a lot of the physiological information.
Mhm.
Like, okay, but what are the what are the actual physiological aspects of a birth? What are the, and she's like, no, just trust your intuition. He's like, no, I'm not just gonna trust my intuition. I mean, sometimes you have to do a little bit more than just, jumping blindly into a pool.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to feel empowered and have more knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's my intuition telling me that I need to know certain things. So it's not counterintuitive.
Yes.
So I really think that to give you like a proper feedback, I'd like to finish watching it, like, because I've watched uh four four videos, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I watched the pelvis one. That was the last one that I watched, and I absolutely loved it, by the way. I liked how sometimes they explain this is anterior this is posterior blah. It's like, what does it look like? What does that mean? But
That's
actually having the doll, it's like, okay, now that I see it, it makes a lot more sense.
oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I was able to understand a few things about the positioning of the baby,
Mhm.
uh, because usually they only talk about breech births, not
Mm,
so much about sunny side up or
yeah.
posterior. So that was interesting for me too, and I can't think of anything right now. I
Mhm.
would like to finish watching it, and I promise to give you like proper in-depth feedback And if anything that I would like to see that I haven't seen, or that I'd like to suggest, I because I think it's important to honor, right, that commitment towards the course and you, because that's the whole point. That's why we're doing this. So yeah, I promise to do that. But so far, I've actually learned a lot. I like that it's not super drawn out. It's not super long. The videos are not super long. They're very concise.
You
But
haven't
they're
gotten
very
to the relaxation techniques one. That's the longest video. I think it's an hour and a half.
well, but it makes sense.
That's like
You
the
know,
most important thing, right? Like to know all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Relaxation, time coping, and position changes. That's the longest topic.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one. So, but I don't think that you are, stretching it out just for the sake of it. I also really like to get into the technical aspect of it. I like the video quality and the quality. I really appreciate the sound quality. I've watched other
I
videos
have a
on
guy who's
YouTube,
doing my
or
video editing. He's awesome. He's
he's
doing
very
all,
good. Stick with him,
he's very
because
good.
most of the videos you have this echo in the room,
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
or they're using a whatever microphone, but it looks like you were very careful to choose the technical side of it. It really makes you engage with it. It's like watching a movie and not being able to hear the dialogue,
Oh,
just hear the background music. Is like you don't engage the same. But with your video, the audio is right there. It's not somewhere up here. I don't know if that makes sense.
that's good. Yeah, yeah. He's
Um,
professional. He's doing this like very well, and God sent him to me.
yeah. I also like your candor. Like it, you're very relaxed. It doesn't look, you're not rigid, being like the old style teacher. No, you're very relaxed. You laugh, and you make a mistake, but then you put it up here, and it's okay. I think that I think it also gives you the sense. Like, I remember you, I think it was twice when you were talking about the hospital intake, and then, well, it actually made me feel anxious, because it's like, this and this and that, and
Yes.
so
Yeah.
you were able to also instill that sense of, you don't want to have to do this while you're like, this big and dilated, and trying to not push a baby out in the hallway of a hospital. So I really like the technical aspect of it. I have a thing. If I don't enjoy the person, I have a lot of difficulty learning from that person. And if I can connect, because the audio or video is
Oh,
out, or is pixelated or anything, it makes me tired, and it
right.
makes it difficult for me to take it all in.
Yeah.
But in that sense, I also enjoyed it a lot. I was totally absorbed. Like, I didn't even notice when my husband came in and out yesterday a couple of times while I was watching one of the videos. And he said, "Oh yeah, I watched a bit like last night." And I'm like, "When?" So I don't realize you came into the office. He's like,
Aw.
Yeah, you were totally absorbed, so I didn't even bother you. But I was able to really watch the video and just really go in there and try to picture in my own body, with
Yeah.
my own pelvis. I was watching the pelvis video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe one thing that you could do there is have people actually feel their pelvis, like do things
I
on the
just
chair.
recorded that. I'm gonna add it
Ah,
in. Yes.
yeah, great.
Yeah.
Like, if you're sitting on a yoga ball, maybe do figure eights, or swing this way or
Yeah.
that way. Yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah, I've done that. and it truly is like, oh yeah, it feels, oh yeah, I can feel it now, like it makes more sense.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's a good, um, yeah, I've taken the videos, I'm gonna add it in, so that's a good suggestion.
yeah, that's, yeah, that
Awesome.
one's, that's it. And yeah, I think that for the videos that I've watched, I don't have anything else to say right now.
So thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. You're such an amazing person. I love hearing your story and your journey, and like how you describe it is so beautiful.
Thanks. I've actually really enjoyed it too. Well, people say that I love talking too much. Maybe it's true. But
No.
I also feel very passionate about this,
Yeah.
and I just would really like to see more women going through this in this life changing way, because it I've seen how it can really deeply
Yeah.
uh, positively change you and affect you. So yeah,
Yes. Do you have a last piece of advice for moms?
I think that the the only advice that has ever served me any good
Mm,
is listen to yourself.
yes.
Listen to yourself. It doesn't matter if it sounds crazy, if nobody believes you, if people, no, just listen to yourself, because there is a wisdom
Yeah. Beautiful.
hidden away there, and if we attention, it flourishes.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. I hope you have a
Thank you.
wonderful evening, and stay in touch. And I can't wait to hear your birth story when you have your baby.
Yeah, I can't wait to share it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you very much.